How are you?
Yeah, good. A little bit jet lagged, but actually I'm so kind of excited slash a little bit nervous about the premiere tonight. So I feel like it's just like it's pushing me through.
Yeah. I got to go to the New York premiere last week,
Oh wow,
which
yes. I
was
was gonna go.
amazing.
One of my really good mates is there, lives there, but I had to kind of pick between LA and New York because of timings in my life. So I went for LA just because my agent's here and I haven't been here for so long. Last time I was here, I came for my mate's wedding, so 2019. So I'm craving coming back. I can't wait. Tomorrow I'm just gonna eat tacos all day. That's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, you just gotta go get some good tacos and then as you're leaving, go to In-N-Out Burger and get your
Oh,
In-N-Out
in that,
style
but
fries.
yes, yeah. Of course.
So that was the second time I had seen this movie. And I did wear my John Wick shirt, which is just a picture of Keanu Reeves from like 1994 that says John Wick underneath it. Which was very funny because Keanu Reeves saw my shirt and just stared at me. And I was like, I'm a millennial. You can't blame me.
Yeah, not my
You can't
fault.
blame me. No, my fault. But you get to play such a cool character in this. I'm obsessed with her tattoos. I'm obsessed with her
Yes.
whole vibe. And she is kind of the reason that John Wick gets to have that final
Yeah.
act. But her look is so important to kind of how we as the audience perceive her character. To you as an actor, how much of it was like your input? Like, did you get to craft what she looks like and how she kind of carries herself when you're going
Yeah.
into this?
Yeah. So because of how incredibly lovely and open Chad and the costume guy, his name's Paco. I'm Spanish and he's Spanish. And both of us were like, brrr. We were thick as thieves from day one.
I
And
love it.
Chad, he gave me so much time. He gave up a whole day of his day. And we were about to start filming. So I was at the very beginning of filming. Like,
Mm-hmm.
imagine the level of stuff he has probably to organize. And after our scenes, he had to go and do the German club scene with the fight. But he took a whole day out when I first got there. I had the read through. He introduced me to everyone. I met all the dogs. I met the stunt people. I saw all the studios. He hung out with me while I was getting my hair and makeup done, and saw the tattoos. And he kind of like, oh, okay, this and this and this. Actually, I was a bit worried because I loved them so much. I wore them home. I was like, I want to wear them until they literally melt off my body. But I forget. Obviously, Berlin has a lot of Russian people that speak Russian because of the Cold War. There's a lot of people that speak and read Russian. And I was like, what do these tattoos actually say? I think they're like proper gang tattoos. I was wondering about like, is this okay? I don't know. But yeah, so he really helped with the tattoos and we had some ideas about that. But with the costume designer, yeah, he sat there all day. And instead of usually when you do costume, the costume designer will take pictures,
Mm-hmm.
send their favorite, and then maybe the next day you'll show the director on. No, he sat there and we did a proper like fancy dress, pulling out everything out the box while and me going in and out and in and out. And he allowed me that time. And, Paco had some ideas, I had some other ones, and we kind of just, I was allowed to have a say basically, which is great. I love it. I
When
love
it
this
is.
ability to actually say something because that way you can feel, like for example, sometimes I've been put in costumes that I feel maybe a bit uncomfortable in. Do you know what I mean? Or
Mm-hmm.
like, I don't know if I can walk in these heels and do this action scene. Sometimes that's happened.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas they allowed me to have a bit of a voice. Obviously, they had a vision, but we kind of played around for like a whole afternoon. It was really fun.
Yeah, and I think especially I used to study theater, so I know a lot of actors who like that helps them get into character, knowing like exactly
100%.
how their
A
character is doing
hundred.
it.
Yeah. Like without a doubt, like every time I do a job, I always forget this. It's a bit like as a woman, I always forget like once a month I'm gonna have my period. And I always forget like a few days before. I'm like, why do I hate everyone? And then I'm like, why have I not learned after years of being a woman?
You
It's a similar
forget.
thing with acting. I always get really, really nervous and anxious and excited before I start filming. And I feel like I haven't done my homework. And then actually you've gone on set, you do the costume fitting, you do the hair and makeup fitting tests, and you're like, there she is. And I always forget that that's always going to happen, that you can only go so far practicing, and then actually you need this external incredible team that help create the
Mm-hmm.
character as well.
Yeah, and I think also your character, she is a badass, and also she has power over, and I keep saying it, and I'm sorry, she's power over Neo, power over one. She's kind of like the one who is telling him whether or not he can do the thing he wants to do, and I love
Mhm.
her because she gets something for herself out of it, but she's like,
Yeah.
what if you went and did this thing I want you to do?
Yeah.
When you are crafting a character who is very funny, she clearly, like, she has her shit down, she knows what she's doing, but she is interacting with the main character and in a way that is sort of different than we have seen throughout this whole movie, because most of the people he's meeting want to kill him. How do
well,
you
I do some light torture.
You do a little bit like a little bit of but how do you kind of like craft that relationship where they've known each other for a long time and we instantly know their relationship right out the gate with Keanu? Like, how do you guys kind of navigate that?
Yeah, so we had, again, both of them gave me this like huge amount of time. I got there, 5 days before we started filming, and we had a read through and we talked about it with Keanu Reeves and Chad and the writer, and we had like a couple of hours of actually being able to talk through it and say it a few times, say it out loud quite a few times, which is actually quite rare. A lot of times when you do filming, it's like, especially when you're a minor character, you turn up on the day and you just have to do your job, and you might not even get a read through with the other actor because they might be preparing and doing stuff and doing changes. And so I was very privileged to be allowed to do that, and we kind of talked about it, and we got to the point where we were like, okay, she's either his niece or his cousin. It's that kind of family dynamic, but also they haven't seen each other for a while. So I'm thinking, because I say he looks, he got old, and he says to me, I've grown up. So I feel like maybe around 20 years they haven't seen each other. And they maybe saw, each other at a weird Roma family Christmas, years ago. And now, there's been a big gap. But the one thing that helped me when I was a bit nervous on set actually is that, because you're like you said, you're working with the lead character, but actually her status is much higher than his at that moment. For her, like, it's her room, it's her people, it's her weird fucking torture contraption, it's her priest, it's her city. And so it was trying to remember that, like, when I found myself starting to get nervous, especially because I had to learn and speak Russian and didn't want to screw that up, that it's like, no, breathe. You are the alpha this entire situation, and that helped when I was in the scene.
Yeah, I will say, I forgot that he was Russian when I brought my friend who is Russian with me to see.
Was I shit? Was I okay?
No, I heard her going, that was pretty good. That was pretty good. Like, as it was happening, I was like,
yeah, I've been meaning to ask anyone that's Russian if it was fucking legible.
She was like, no, it was pretty good, because I was saying, like, as soon as you guys, like, the Russian star, I was like, oh, right, they call him Baba Yaga. And she was like, what? And I was like, I forgot he's Russian. And she was, I was like, I forgot. I was like, it happened the second one we learned he's Russian. And she was just like, what? And I was like, don't worry about it. Just watch the movie. It's a good movie. And she kept going, oh yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Has your friend seen all of them? Have you seen all of them?
No, I've seen all 4. I love, like I said, I'm a millennial, so I love Keanu Reeves movies. So I was like fully on board with the John Wick movies. But she was like, I need something to do. I was like, I have a +1. Come with me, see John Wick. And so she just went fully in, not knowing what's going on.
My mate as well, on the premiere in London last Monday before. I had a friend that, again, like, last minute, I didn't invite her. She's one of my best friends, but I didn't invite her initially because she hadn't seen any of them. I was like, I don't know if you like action. I love action. I love how Chad is he's elevated action movies to a whole other level with the genre. And apparently someone told me, I don't know if this is true, but apparently the first John Wick was technically an indie film because of the budget and how it worked. And then it was propelled by everyone going, what? That's incredible. So, yeah, and I brought a friend, she had no idea. I gave her a bit of a summary.
Yeah, I think I did the same. I was like,
man's dog dies, okay?
Yeah, I was like, he doesn't like when people hurt dogs. And she was like, okay. And I was like, that's all you need to know. And then when the dog thing happens in this movie, she was like, yeah. I was like, yeah, she's on board. Great. I got her on board. But yeah, I'm obsessed with her. I would watch her in her own little show like they're doing with Ballerina. I would be fully on board with it.
I'd love them to do that. Fingers crossed. Who knows? Maybe.
I would love next year. Thank you so much for talking with me today. I really appreciate it. And I can't wait for everyone to get to see you in John Wick 4. I think it's so good.
Thank you, Rachel. Have a lovely day. Enjoy.
Have a great one. Bye. Bye.